All right. Well, I'm using a software here called TeamViewer, and TeamViewer will be on all of our devices that we trial and that you purchase from us. And it's a software that you can use from your laptop to log into the communication device. And it will come up on your screen exactly how it appears on the device. And you can go into the vocabulary, change the settings, help your students to use their device. So I highly recommend using TeamViewer. It's fantastic software. So this is the library in the Liberator Rugged with WordPower. And you can see that there's a range of different WordPower vocabularies there. Each of the numbers are how many icons will be on the front screen. And so they wanted to have a range of different WordPower vocabularies to meet people's needs at different ages, different levels of language, and different levels of access. So WordPower 20, that's going to have 20 large buttons on the front. 42, we've got 42 buttons on the front. And we go all the way down to 140 buttons on the front. So hopefully that can meet the needs of anybody at any age with any access skills or any level of language who wants to try WordPower. Today we're going to use WordPower 60 Basic PCS. So you can have two different sets of icons in there. I'm going to use our PCS board maker symbols in WordPower today. But you could also use symbol sticks, which are the same icons that you use in Prolog Word to Go. So if your student has had some previous use of Prolog Word to Go and likes those icons, you might want to use symbol sticks. Or if they've had some previous access to PECs or board maker pictures in the school, then you might want to use PCS symbols and see which one your student prefers. In the library here, you can see that these original vocabularies are locked on the left. And so that's so that you can't make any changes to these originals. So we've always got an original to go back to if we need. So what we want to do is we want to hold down on our WordPower Basic 60, and I want to duplicate that vocabulary and make one for me, so I can then make changes in the future, add pictures that relate to me. So I've duplicated that now. We can go in and I'm allowed to make changes to this now if I want to personalize it for me. You see along the bottom here, we have some menu buttons. We've got three dots here for the menu on the right, a square, a circle, and a triangle. Our three dots here are the menu. If I click on that, it will open up into our settings and library and help and edit mode. The square here just shows the recent apps that have been used in the tablet. So if I click on the square, it will show me all the different programs that I've been recently using. And I might want to close some of those to allow me to have more power for the communication software. And it's just like on our phone, where if you have a lot of apps open in the background, we often open it up and close down everything in the background to allow the device to run at its most powerful. The circle in the middle is our home button. And if I press this, it will exit out of WordPower back into the Android device environment. So if I click on the circle, here I am back out in my Android device. And then I have all of my normal Android apps that I can access here if I need. And our triangle here is our back button. So if we ever need to go one screen back in the settings or one screen back on the device, we can press our back button. Now, some kids we work with are used to these home buttons and menu buttons from using their iPad, and they may use these buttons to get out of the communication software or to make changes on the device. And so in some cases, it might be a good idea to lock or hide some of these menu buttons if your student is using them in a way that isn't helpful. So we can lock all of these buttons. On the right, on the menu, we can lock these three dots here and put it so that we need a password to get into the menu and change settings. And so to turn that on, I can click on our three dots for the menu, open up the application settings. And then on the main screen here, we have menu lock. So I can turn the menu lock on and set a password. And so every time we want to press our three dots to get into the settings, we'll need to enter a password. And this might be a good idea if your student is repetitively pressing the three dots and trying to get into the settings and making changes that aren't helpful. Now, some students will also press the square and the circle to try to exit the communication software, getting out into the fun stuff in the Android environment, like the camera or YouTube, things like that, or the internet. And so we can actually get rid of the square and the circle here by using a feature called Kiosk mode. And it's similar to guided access on the iPad. And it's something to use if your student is exiting the communication program, preventing them from learning language and using the communication software. So to turn on our kiosk mode, we hit our three dots for the menu. And then application settings. And then we go down the bottom to system. And in the middle here, we have kiosk mode. And I'll turn on the kiosk mode. And you can see down the bottom now, the square and the circle are gone. So you can no longer use the square or the circle to exit WordPower. And so I recommend using those two features if your student is using the menu or using the home buttons, and that's affecting their ability to learn language. I just wanted to chat a little bit now around the layout of WordPower. So it was designed at the very start with an adult AAC user in mind. So that was the first person that they designed it for. That person had a little bit of literacy skills. They understood pictures. The person understood categories of words. They understood different parts of language like pronouns, verbs, describing words, adjectives. And they were looking for how to create a system to put all that together for that adult. And then he was able to go on and use the WordPower program quite well to communicate. And then they started to adapt it to make it usable for everyone at every age. And so they used a Fitzgerald key way of organizing language. So that's having our pronouns over on the left. And then they've added some colors in there to make the pronouns stick out. And they copied this from the original PCS symbol coloring. So here on the left, we've got our pronouns in yellow, and this is often where we start a sentence. In the middle, we've got some really high frequency verbs and core words, and they are in green. And further over, we've got some prepositions, adjectives, nouns, describing words in blue. Up the top, we've got some categories where category's been set, and then all the words in that category will relate to that category. So if I open up social, underneath here we have lots of social words and phrases that you can use to socialize. On the main screen, you can see here, they're really high frequency core words. And so these are the words that we used most often when we're talking, and have made them easily available on the front screen. And then there are some words that don't have a picture because it's really hard to draw a picture for these words like is and can and do. And so you do require a bit of literacy to use the WordPower program, or the ability to learn literacy as you're learning the program. The front screen here is word-based, so they wanted to make access to individual words very important, so that people could put words together in a sentence to say everything that they want to say. But then underneath, they have added some words together in phrases to allow that person to quickly communicate a sentence or a phrase. So it's a mix between single words and sentences and phrases. Some of the categories that are really popular are the social page here. Lots of nice social language that someone can use at all ages. And then a lot of students really like the personal and questions page, where you can put information about you to quickly communicate something when you're out in the community. A lot of the categories fairly common sense to us. So, if I'm thinking about going somewhere, I could look in the places category, and it will have lots of places that I can go. If I'm wanting to use some adjectives and some describing words, they're going to be under our describing category, where we can get emotions, colors, adjectives, way to describe. One of the features of WordPower is word prediction. So if you press an icon, it tries to predict what icon you might put next in a sentence. So if I press go, it predicts that I might want to say go for a walk or go for a ride. And so it makes those buttons available to me by replacing other buttons. So that's a feature unique to just a few communication systems, which try to predict what are you going to say next in your sentence. Obviously, in WordPower 60 here, we've got 60 words on the front screen, and then quite a few categories with a lot of words underneath. So it's very difficult to learn where all the words are quickly, and we wouldn't expect anybody to know where all the words are. So luckily, WordPower has got two word finders, so you can search where a word is. The first one is in the ABC 123 icon up the top left. So I can go in and search for a word like go. I'll type it in and then hit the find word button down the bottom left. And it will show me up the right here what are the different button combinations to get to that word. So go is in there a few times, and I can press groups, reading, early books, know David as the book, and then go, and it will show me all the different icon sequences to get to the word go. And there's quite a few for go. There's another word finder in the menu. So if I hit my three dots, over on the left here, we've got word finder. And I'll search for go again. If I type go, it will show me all the icon sequences to press to get to the word go. And then the newest version of our chat software, it's got a guide me feature here, which will hide all the other icons and just show me the buttons to press to get to the word go. So let's give that a go. So here you can see it's hidden everything else. It's telling me to press groups, reading, early books, big green monster.
Go green monster.
And go.
Go.
And that's one of the ways that I can get to the word go. Sometimes these 60 icons on the front screen here, and then many pages below, is going to be too visually overwhelming or too many icons for some of the students that we work with, or even for us trying to teach this program to someone else. So you can hide and show icons to have less pictures on the screen, if that's going to be a helpful strategy for the student or for you to learn. So to hide and show icons, we'll go into the menu, 3 dots, and turn on the edit mode up the top. Then we'll go back into our menu, 3 dots, and turn on hide mode. And it tells me down the bottom here, hide mode is on. And then I can click on icons that I don't want to show on the front screen. And when I've finished hiding, I can go to our menu, 3 dots, turn off hide mode, turn off edit mode, and it's hidden the icons that I selected here. So if you wanted to make it less visually overwhelming or just narrow it down to words that relate to your communication goals, you can do that. So I'm just going to go in and bring those icons back now. I'll turn on the edit mode. Turn on the hide mode. And then I'm just going to press show all to bring everything back. And you can personalize WordPower by adding in icons that are important to the student. I'd recommend not to go overboard with this, otherwise you'll be adding everything in their life into there and you'll be customizing it forever. But I was having a look in there earlier. We were thinking about the word pizza. And so I checked to see whether it was in here by going into the word finder. And I hit find word, and pizza isn't actually in WordPower 60. So I might want to add the word pizza if that was really important to me, which it is. So if I'm thinking about where to put pizza, I might go under my eat icon here. There's some free spots. There's an apple up here under groups. So that could be another place that I put it in food. And there's some free icons here. So you want to add the icon in a place that makes sense to the student and for you so that it's easy to find. But let's put it here under the eat icon.
Eat.
And we have some blank icons here that we can create our own icons in. So to create an icon, we click on our menu, 3 dots, and turn on the edit mode. Then we hold down on the icon that we want to create pizza on. So I'm going to hold down here. And then I want to hit edit button. Now I can add a label, so that's what will be written on the icon. So I'm going to add a label of pizza. And then if I scroll down, the next one is the message. What do I want the icon to say? And I want it to say pizza. Then I can put in an image. The device will have a big bank of images, or I could take a photo through the camera here if I wanted to take a photo of a particular pizza. But let's try find. We'll search for pictures of pizza. And I'll just use the normal PCS symbol here for pizza. So we've got the label of pizza, what it reads. The message it's going to say is pizza, and we've got a picture for pizza. And there we've created our icon for pizza. It's very easy to personalize and create your own icons. The most common thing that people might add would be cultural foods or drinks or favorite people, and just put it in a place that makes sense to you and the student. Once I'm finished making it, I'll turn the edit mode off. Another thing that people might want to do in WordPower is to create a folder. So you might want to create a folder of favorite movies or a folder of friends from school. But you can fairly easily make a folder in WordPower. So I was thinking under people here, I might create a folder around classmates and put in some words and pictures around my classmates if I wanted to. So first I want to make a page called classmates, and this is where we can add the pictures and photos of my classmates. So if I hit my three dots and turn the edit mode on, and then hit the three dots and pages. So I'm going to create a new page called classmates. So these are all the pages on the device. And I want to create a new page from a template here so that it already has the home button and the clear button, and it can get me back to that home screen rather than me having to create those buttons. So up in the three dots up the top, I'm going to create a new page from a template. And this will come already with my home button, clear button. Let's give it a name that I can easily find. I'm just going to put my initials and classmates to make it easier for me to find. MT classmates. And you can see down the bottom here in the edit mode, it tells me where I am. So I'm in WordPower 60. And this is the page called MT Classmates. And it already comes with our back button, our clear, and some folders and pronouns if I wanted to use those. So inside here is lots of spare buttons. And this is where I can add my classmates. And so to do that, I can hold down on a button, edit a button, put in my classmate's name. So John. If we have consent and people would like to be in the device, we could take a photo through the camera, or I could just put in a generic picture of a boy from the device. So quite easy to create my classmates in my MT classmates page. And then I want to find a place to put my classmates page. So let's put it in people. And then there's lots of free icons here. And so I want to create a front page, a front icon called MT Classmates. So let's choose one of these empty spots in the middle, and I'll hold down an edit button. This is going to be my MT Classmates icon where I go through and get to all my classmates. So I want to give it a label, MT Classmates. And because this one's a folder, I don't want it to speak MT Classmates as I go in. So I'm going to keep the message blank. Then I could find an icon that relates to MT Classmates. It could be a picture of me at school, could be a picture of a school. Might just add a picture of a school. And in my MT Classmates icon, I then want it to go through to my classmates page. And so to do that, I go up into actions up at the top right. Now at the moment, the action is speaking the message of MT classmates, which I don't want it to do. So I'm going to remove that action. And then I'm going to add an action to jump to my MT classmates page. So in add action, I'll scroll down to jump to page. And it has a list of all the pages in the device. And let's find MT classmates. And it will show me the page to make sure I'm on the right one, which it is. And I hit OK and save. And I'll turn the edit mode off and let's test this out. So from the home page, we went into people. Then we wanted to create a folder about my classmates. So I hit my classmates and then it jumps to my page of my classmates. So there are the steps to make a folder. Again, I wouldn't go overboard with creating too many icons or too many folders. These core words on the front are the words that are used most frequently in the English language. Our words like classmates, our words like pizza, we don't actually use very often throughout the week. So add it in there if it's really important to your student, but don't spend too much time personalizing the vocabulary. When we're trialing WordPower and devices, or if we have a long-term AAC user, there are some features on the device which will show you what are the words that the person is using, and that's called data logging. And so on the NovaChat, the Rugged, and on the iPad with TouchChat, you can record what words your student is saying. And that's really handy for when you're applying for funding, or if you're trying to check whether your student is achieving your therapy goals. And so to turn on the data logging, we go down in the menu and application settings. And down the very bottom is data logging. And if I turn the data logging on, it will now record every press that is done in WordPower. And then I can save that information and upload it onto the website Realize Language, which will analyze that data and show me exactly what the person is using on the device. If this is something you're interested in, then certainly talk to the family and talk to the device user and ask if it's okay for you to turn on this feature. You can see all the words they press, how long they're using the device each day. Are they using it at school, preschool, day program, things like that. And if the family and user are happy, then turn it on. And then on our YouTube page, we have some quick videos about how to then upload it to Realize Language. But really good feature on all of our devices and software. So we've made a couple of icons here for pizza and my classmates. If this device is now thrown in the pool or I leave it out in the rain today, I will have lost those icons that I made. And so it's really important to back up your vocabulary pretty regularly so that any changes you make are permanently saved and you can just load it back onto a new device when you need. So there's a couple of different ways to back up your vocabulary. The first one is just with your charging cord. If you take the end piece off, you can then plug it straight into your computer. And so if we plug it into our computer through the USB port, the device will go into transfer mode. And if you have our chat editor software, which I'll put a link in at the end, you can then transfer the vocabulary from the device to the chat editor software.
Go.
in the library here and transfer. So that's a really good way to back up your vocabulary from the device onto Chat Editor in your computer. Another way that you can back up your vocabulary is onto a USB.
Welcome to NovaChat.
So when you trial a device or purchase a device from us, in the box will be a small cord which plugs into the device, and it has a USB connection at the end, and you can put a USB in there and then save your vocabulary onto that USB. And so the way to do that is back out in the library and our three dots up the top and import export. So if I hit import export, I can save my vocabulary onto a USB or load a vocabulary from my USB onto my device. And we've got videos for how to do both of those on our YouTube channel. Another thing with the device, similar to our phone, we need to update the software over time. If we don't update the software and changes are made, the device may not work as well over time. So to update the software, we can go into our three dots menu, and the software update is in Help. Check for updates. You can hit check now and it will search for whether there are any software updates, and it's good to update the software regularly to keep it up to date and to keep it working well. If we hit our three dot menu in here, you can allow for download via Wi-Fi, and you can turn on automatic install. So it will automatically update the software once a new one comes out. For the software update, you do need to be connected to Wi-Fi. And so to get to Wi-Fi, I'm going to turn my kiosk mode feature off to allow my circle and square. So I'll go back into the application settings, system, kiosk mode, and turn that off. This brings up our circle and square. And so a couple of ways to get to the Wi-Fi. I can hit the circle, going back out into the Android environment, open up my Android apps, going into the settings, and turning on the Wi-Fi here, connecting to your home Wi-Fi. The other way is back in the software. I'm in WordPower on the Liberator Rugged. I can swipe down from the top right here with my finger. Opens up a menu, and I can connect to the internet here as well. That's handy if you want to turn the internet on to update the software. Well, that's all of the settings, so I'll turn the video recording off.